Hey everybody, this is one of the most hated vehicles of the modern era, the P38 Range Rover. And Case, what are we up to today?
Today we are at Ram Off-Road Park here in Colorado Springs, where there's a bunch of obstacles we can test out the capability of this Range Rover on.
And we're gonna find out if it's A, any good, and B, if we make it back here at the end of the day. Perry is running a set of Nitto Terra Grappler tires. They are not new, they're about 50% worn down, but they are aired down to give us some more traction. Oh, Case! What a good day!
Of luxury, Tommy. Look at all of the wood we have here in the interior. We've got piping on the seats. These are memory seats. You got a sunroof. Got, you know, most of your headliner is still hanging on. This is awesome.
Dude, this was the jam back in 2001.
Dude, you got a real clock and it says Land Rover.
Oh, man.
And it's wrong.
That's how you know you've made it.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually keep very good time. But we are out here at the Ram Off-Road Park facing this pretty intense looking slick rock and sand obstacle.
Yeah, and we know, as we've just discussed, that this is an extremely luxurious vehicle. What we don't know yet is how good this really is off-road, because we haven't gotten this P38 on a trail yet. This is going to be the first time testing out its capability.
Oh, let's see what she can do. So, key in the ignition.
Sounds like an airplane going down, Tommy. Sync rate. Terrain.
Yeah, this car has the most obnoxious beats of any cars. Now, in terms of off-road gear, unlike modern vehicles that have off-road modes and terrain response and different levers and switches and everything to pull, there's only one thing you can do. You want to show this, Case? So you can put it in the low range, but it's kind of different than most low ranges.
Yeah, so there's like basically an H pattern because there are two different channels for your automatic shifter to run through, which is cool. So that's low range on the right. Engages pretty quickly, actually. Super engages.
Now, this is really kind of intense, and I wouldn't attempt this in really any other stock modern vehicle, but with a $4,000 Range Rover,
who cares?
So if you have the clearance in the front.
I'm pretty impressed, because that's not nothing that you're walking the front end up there. Solid axles on this vehicle, and this one's been converted to coil springs, which is good because the air suspension's on this. Leave that. The air suspension's on these, not the best, but wow. Dude, we didn't even scrape.
The capability of this bone stock P38 pile for $4,000 is unbelievable. Case and I have been running around here for just a few minutes trying to figure out where the limit is, and we have yet to find it on obstacles that stumped a Ford Ranger Raptor.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff here that we're not going to be able to climb this up. There's some obstacles that are really intended for rock buggies and that kind of thing. But like what you said, some of the obstacles we're going to drive up here were difficult for the Ranger Raptor, with front and rear lockers and long travel suspension and 33s and all the best off-road running gear and technology you can get.
And the bone stock
$4,000
it's unbelievable. Look at that.
Yeah, again, we have yet to touch bottom. This is really pretty impressive. The angles on this vehicle, breakover, approach, and departure, are all pretty good. The other thing that we've got going for us is we don't have lockers, but we have a pretty decent traction control system that, whenever we get fully articulated and hang a tire, still lets us progress up some pretty difficult stuff.
I mean, it's amazing what it's letting us do right now with just open front diff, open rear diff, and an open center diff too.
Yeah.
This doesn't even have the center locking differential. And so far, it's just taken everything we're throwing at it with ease. So we're gonna cut here, find some harder stuff even still, and see what happens.
This is very steep, Tommy. I don't know of any vehicle that we own that I would be confident in saying it will get up this. I hope we can capture on camera how extreme this is. So I think we're gonna find the limit here. I think it's primarily going to be an issue.
Just a grip limit,
yeah.
Ooh, don't want to go over there.
But the other nice thing about this cheap Land Rover is that we can kind of try some things that are a little bit outside of its depth, because it was $4,000.
Right.
So if we beat up the rockers on this, it'll go from a $4,000 vehicle to a $3,900 vehicle. is like with the Ranger Raptor, even though it's got underbody protection, you want to make sure you're kind of preserving it, but
I don't think it's going to do this.
No. Do you want to bump it?
I mean, the problem is it's so steep.
Yeah.
We may end up bumping it backwards. I'll give it just a little something here. No, that's not going to happen.
This is, again, a heavily modified Jeep territory, I would say. Even like a stock Wrangler Rubicon. I think a stock Wrangler Rubicon might get up that, but
maybe.
I don't know if it's capturing on camera. That's steep and difficult. So.
Well, let's go find some other stuff.
Some more practical things.
Yeah, some more practical obstacles.
Oh, we lost the camera again.
All right, so we're trying another route up this hill with these boulders in place. Let's see if Perry the P38 can do this. All right, so we've got these relatively worn all-terrain tires on this vehicle. We did air them down to about 18 PSI, and this is essentially a stock Range Rover except for the air suspension, which has been deleted.
It really is impressive how much these vehicles can actually articulate.
I mean, Case, should we try this?
I think so. These rocks, even taller than what he just drove up. Let's see what it can do.
Gotta get a slightly better angle at him here. Running out of brake pressure on these old brakes. Come on,
all right,
P38.
You're gonna touch some, yeah. You're running out of bumper. Well, I mean, at this point, how much do you care about the bumper? So there's your limit of approach. You're about to start walking up.
Is it on the radiator?
Well, I don't know how close the radiator is, but funny enough, I mean, your bumper even looks okay after doing that, so.
Sacrificing a bumper here. All in the name of YouTube.
Flexing that thing. Now you're gonna walk up. Oh, look at that. Running out of traction, but the front tire's trying to walk up the rock. We are aired down a little bit.
I think that's gonna be a no-go, Case. So look, it couldn't do that. Is that a demerit against the Range Rover? I mean, look, it's a stock vehicle, right? The fact that we're even at this point at all is pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly. Other than the tires, it's unmodified. This exists as it would have basically turnkey.
So the thing about these Range Rovers is they look pretty posh, but the undercarriage of these is very much related to the old school Defender. Mm-hmm. You know, the one that's like a squared off utility vehicle. And
yeah.
As such, they have a real amount of kind of built-in off-road goodness.
Yeah, for better and for worse, they didn't really have tons of funding to pour towards developing an entirely new platform. So the underpinnings of this SUV have a lot of credibility and a lot of pedigree.
Yeah, but so far we're doing amazing, and I think we're gonna go find a couple more obstacles. Maybe I'll have you try driving.
Sure.
So we can kind of mix it up a little bit. Let's see what's going on over here. It's probably gonna be too much, but we can probably do this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, look at the confidence we have in Perry the Range Rover. Here, do you want to drive it?
Sure. Now, without a doubt, the Range Rover is going to make quick work out of this. They're not known for being the most reliable vehicles in the world. But I'll tell you what, for
Hey, let me see what's going on over here.
For $4,000, this is good off-road. And I'm gonna bump it a little bit.
Yeah, just make sure you keep it a little to the right, pretty close to that log there.
Yeah, let's see.
Yep. Oh,
there we go.
That was awesome.
I mean, I'll tell you what, for $4,000, you can't take anything away from this vehicle. It's good off-road.
Dude, that was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the traction control working, and you came close to that log, and it's going to look like nothing on camera, but that's a good 2-foot obstacle.
Yeah.
Just cruise right up it.
Yeah, bump right up.
So, Case, let's talk a little bit more about Perry here. So this is a 2001 Range Rover, known as the P38 generation.
Yep.
And the engine is a 4.6 liter V8, but this engine has a long, storied history.
These 4.6 liter V8s don't have the best reputation for reliability, but then again, I feel like it takes quite a bit for one to fail entirely. It's definitely not unheard of. Also, cresting the hill here, this is pretty impressive because we've taken some off-road trucks up these, and the breakover on most vehicles, even some pretty capable 4x4s, is not too great for this. You're touching a little bit there, but that's
right
nothing.
That's unbelievable. Do you want to try what's in front of us?
So I've watched a Humvee go up this. As we know, Humvees are extremely capable. I think we can nose up it. I don't think there's a line where we'll be able to get up it. Do you think to the right is going to be the mildest?
Right. Yeah.
So we'll give it a shot. Why not? Again, it's the nice thing about a $4,000 Range Rover is that if we get into a slightly tricky situation, it's not a huge deal. So walk in the front, end up, and then I'll start turning to the right.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're not going to do that.
No.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and this I think is just all a little too vertical.
For your approach angle?
Yeah, I mean, we could theoretically try and go up left.
Try backing it down. Let's try left. I like that. That's a great plan. It's amazing on camera how it just flattens everything out, but these are some pretty serious little hills here.
Again, yeah, I mean, I've watched Humvees that are, it goes without saying, they're extremely capable. And I've watched those Humvees spinning their big old 37-inch tires, all four of them at the same time, going up these very rocks.
So if the Range Rover doesn't do this, I don't think we can really give it that much hell. Okay, go really slow here. Let's see if we get the clearance. Yeah. Yeah, our tires are just too small, Case. I can see it on the drone.
Yeah.
So it's a good effort, but we're just bottomed out. So we're going to go over to our mashed potatoes obstacle, which has gotten a couple vehicles hung up, including the Frontier and a new Silverado Trail Boss.
I gotta say, though, the capability we've experienced in this so far today has made us bold enough to actually try some of these features that so far in our couple visits here to Ram Off-Road Park, we have not tried in any other vehicle.
You're gonna have to let up the brake because it's just locked up on the front wheels. Nice. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, the stuff that this little $4,000 Range Rover has done, even if it doesn't look that crazy on camera, has blown Case and I just completely away to the point where we're trying stuff we wouldn't try in any other stock vehicle. A, because they're expensive and new, but B, because they just won't do it, and we know that. But this has so much clearance out of the box, such a good approach angle, and such a good departure angle. It's doing everything we're asking of it.
Yeah, and we're just not that worried about scuffing it up, which is the best, one of the best, if not the single best, arguably, quality that you can have in an off-roader.
100%.
Now, this that we're going up, I believe you call this mashed potatoes.
Yep.
This is something that we went up in the Ranger Raptor. This is something that we went up in our HD Silverado. Both vehicles that have off-road suspension, big tires. They're lifted quite a bit with a lot of clearance, but pretty long wheelbases, so breakover gets to be an issue. But here in the P38,
oh, dude, unreal.
We can pretty easily dance over the tops of these rocks, and so far haven't even touched bottom.
That's crazy.
Which is really impressive.
Here, we gotta crest the top of this hill.
Yeah.
Mount P38, we'll call it.
Should we try maybe like
I would just go perfectly straight.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I think we might be able to get up this little rock ledge.
Next one's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'll nose up slowly, because once again, this is a relatively vertical rock here and pretty tall. This is obviously not any special off-road bumper. This is just a factory Range Rover bumper.
God, that looks pretty crazy on camera.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, that's all four. That's framed out. You want to give it a little bump? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I can hear the frame crying for mercy.
Go for it. Nice, nice. Doing crazy. Okay, let's see what we got up here. Oh man.
Now, all really good stuff, pretty impressive. We've got one more feature that we really like a lot, and it's called the wall.
It's called the wall. So we've got this really steep climb with this ledge in the middle, and we're going to see if we can get up it with just traction control and a little bit of skinny pedal. So this is a 219 horsepower out of this 4.6 liter engine.
Not a ton.
And that's mated to a 4-speed ZF automatic transmission, which is then mated to a full-time four-wheel drive system. So it has a center transfer case and then solid axles front and back. And Land Rover's done some really clever stuff, or I should say Range Rover, where they actually offset the front diffs to one side, both front and back, so you have the most possible chance of clearing obstacles, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, now this that we're about to start walking the front end up, our final feature, this is something that we spent about 5 minutes spinning tires in our full differential lock Ranger Raptor getting up. And it might require a little bump.
I think you're right, Case.
Here in the P38.
Give her hell! Oh, come on, buddy! Come on, stay in it! Oh, no!
Maybe a little bit more bump.
We are close to this door, but I think we're going to be okay.
Off camera, Tommy did this obstacle, and he did it way smoother than I, because Tommy is a pretty
Go, go, go.
good driver off-road.
Nice, dude!
Just a little bit of momentum there, and that's all it takes to get this P38 up some pretty serious stuff. Yeah, this is an impressive vehicle. I do think it's funny, though, that the Europeans always make fun of us Americans for having these big engines that don't make that much power. But 220 horsepower out of a 4.6 liter is not that impressive either.
Not that good.
Yeah.
It's not that good. No, you're right about that. So, guys, that was our first attempt to off-road in the Range Rover P38, and I think we're both pretty shocked.
Floored at some of the stuff that we were able to attempt and some of the things that we were able to actually get up. Way more than I think either of us expected. Expectations in a $4,000 vehicle are not necessarily always that high, so just about anything it can do is impressive, and this did a lot.
Well, folks, let us know what you guys think in the comments section below. This has been Tommy.
In case.
Head on over to oldtfl.com. We got more videos for you coming.